In previous videos, we've looked at the components of computers and mobile phones, and also how computers deal with zeros and ones, how those zeros and ones can be converted to numbers, and how those numbers can be converted to things like video and color. In this video, I'm going to give an example of that. What I'm going to do, this is an emulator showing Plant Places Mobile. I'm going to choose Search by Color, Open Existing Image. Now if you look at this, there's a series of images here that all have a mix of colors in them. Okay? And what I want to do is when I click on one, I want it to find the top 16 colors in that image, but not include the background, which is a little bit tricky. So I select this picture here, which is the Cercis canadensis, and what you'll see is it's ignoring the sky blue background, but it's pulled out these colors that it looked at from the colors of the flower. Okay, so it relatively quickly there was able to do an indexing of this image and pick out the relevant colors. Now I'm going to click on this one, and if you remember from a previous video, colors that a computer can render are red, green, and blue. Okay, so this is the shade of red, green, and blue. Probably a lot of red, probably a little bit less green, and a little bit less blue. Each of these colors that we see on this screen can be represented as colors red, green, and blue. So I'm going to click on this color, which is kind of a mauve color, and what's going to happen then is my debugger is going to come. Okay, the debugger allows me to look at the program and run one line at a time and watch what happens when those lines are executed. So here what it's doing is it's interpreting the color that I clicked, that mauve color, and it's interpreting the amount of blue, green, and red in that color. What I can do is I can step over and I see it's blue 160, green 120, and finally red 190. Blue 160, green 120, red 190. What it's going to do is it's going to take those numbers, convert them to zeros and ones using a binary computation similar to the one that we've seen before, and then it's going to send those across the web. It's going to go to this website. One moment, please. Okay, just let me get this centered on the screen. It's going to go to this website and it's going to say red 190, blue, I believe that was 120, and green 160, but let me go back and double check. Okay, green 120, blue 160. Looks like I might have this reversed. Okay, green 120, blue 160. It's just going to send those numbers to a URL very similar to the one I'm showing you here. And that's going to respond with this, which is a list of plants that have a very similar color within about 1/10%, or yeah, roughly give it, or 1/100th of a percent, it looks like. So it does a little bit of accuracy there. So it can be very close to that color, and it will return a result. So it is going to return back this list of plants that have similar colors, and it's also going to return a URL showing the picture that has that color. So for example, let's get the, we'll go ahead and get this one. Okay. And let me just fix up the URL here a little bit. And there we go. So you see that has similar mauve colors. So it's going to grab that, and it's going to return it, and it's going to display those colors to the user. So if you remember, when I was talking about the binary calculator, I said that a computer uses zeros and ones and converts those to a decimal number. Okay? And then we decide what to do with that decimal number, whether to treat it as a number, or treat it as a letter, or treat it as red, green, and blue. And here we see that we're treating it as a number that represents red, green, or blue in the range of 0 to 255. So 160, 120, and 190. And I'm going to go ahead and press play now. When I press play, I'm going to press play a few more times. I'll just go ahead and play through. What will happen is the mobile device will show us our list of results along with pictures that match those results. So we've got 1 moment to sync. As a matter of fact, I might tell it to skip all future breakpoints, which will let it operate a little bit faster. And then it will come back with a list of results. And there we go. Here's our list of plants. As a matter of fact, you see the very first one, the Lespedeza, is the one that we looked at when we did the original search by color in the debugger. So a list of plants that match that color. So you see how we go now from plant. We'll go and we'll click on the magnolia. You see how we can go from a picture to a number to zeros and ones and then actually compare colors. So if you've ever wondered what is behind the scenes when a computer does something like a match by color or a match by sound, a lot of times this is what's happening, and we, the developer, have to decide how we're going to sample these colors, how we want the colors to represent, and then how we want to compare colors even with a bit of a degree of inaccuracy. So that's a look at different programming types. We were looking at an int type there, but we'll see several others. We'll see several other variable types throughout our application. We might see some strings and some doubles and other things like that and some whole numbers, but that's essentially what makes up a program, and that's how we as a developer can look behind the scenes of a program and execute it one line at a time. So that'll wrap up this video. In our next video, we're going to take a look at device independent programming with Cordova, which will be a lot of fun. So we'll see you then. Thank you.